Hello, I'm Jay from Downsoft Studios, and I'm here to teach you how to create your very first platformer. This is nothing advanced, nothing intermediate or anything. It's just something just very basic. This is just going to teach you how to get just a basic player moving and some basic collisions. That way we can get something started as a project. Ready? All right, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna create our sprite here. Going to create, go into sprite. Now we're just going to go ahead and leave this as a default since this is a tutorial series, but if you want to edit this however you like, click this button right here to resize your sprite. Set it to whatever desired number you would like, the size, 16, 32, 64, whatever you like. We're just going to leave it at the default at 64. Now we're just going to go ahead and name this as player. That's not player. That's not player either. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Gonna have edit this player, edit image. We're gonna give this a nice, maybe just this green color. Bam. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and you can leave this as it is, or you can put this in the center, or you can put this at the bottom center. I typically leave the bottom center. That way, if I have like dust particles, they always come from the bottom of this sprite right here. Go ahead and exit. Sprite, create again, S sprite. Now we're going to call this S solid or S ground, or our ground type. We're going to create. When I create it, let's go ahead and get just like this here. Maybe just like a brown color, just to simulate ground. That's it. If you're done here, we're going to go ahead and open our game object. Game object. Object here, create. Object. Now we're going to go ahead and create an O solid object, or O collision object, whatever you want, or ground, whatever you'd like. And we're going to give it the ground sprite. After that, you can exit this and create another one. And here we're going to create our O player object. Here, we're going to go ahead and give it the player object. Player sprite, sorry. Now we'll have it here. And now for the first steps that we're going to be doing, we're going to go ahead and create some variables. So here we're going to create just a normal variable here. So the different types of variables, or what is a variable, is just something, as you can say, it's pretty much like something that gathers information or carries information over, or that has a value. So let's say, for our example, we're going to use HSP equals 0. So this is our horizontal speed, but we're going to set it to 0 for now because we don't have anything going into it. So there's different types of variables. There's this type of variable, meaning this variable is accessed all throughout all of these events, everything here. Now there's temporary variable, which you could type var HSP. And that creates a temporary variable that's only available in this event and only accessed through this event here. Now there's global global.hsp, and this variable is only created one time and can only be used one time throughout the entire game, or throughout anything of the project. So let's say you have global.hp equals 100. If you use this variable as your player's health, and you create an enemy object and you have this as your enemy health, then whatever this is equal to is going to equal to this and your enemy health. So if global.hp and you're using it for your enemy and player, and your HP goes to 50, then the player gets 50 and the enemy gets 50. And if it goes to, let's say 25, then your enemy's going to get 25 too. That's why you always want to stick to this type of variable. So right now we're just going to set up some variables. We got HSP for horizontal speed. We got VSP for us here. Gravity, which we're going to use 0.3. And we're going to use our walk speed. It's going to be 4. And our jump speed is going to equal 7. These are all the variables we're going to have. We're going to have our jump, our walk speed, how fast we're going to fall, and our speed right now. We'll get into this in a minute. let's go ahead and create our step event. Now the step event is something that happens each frame a second. So there's a, let's say your game is running at 60 frames per second. This is 60 frames. So this, anything in this code is going to repeat 60 times a second. So now we're going to just go ahead and start getting our player input. Key right equals keyboard check. K right, and our key left is going to equal keyboard check. K left. We got our key jump equal to keyboard check rest K space. This right here is we're going to put this into this variable here. That way all we have to do is write this instead of just keep running all of this instead. So this keyboard check is going to check if we're consistently holding the right key. And the same thing goes for here. Keyboard check, consistently holding the left key. And now here for our key check pressed, meaning if this button has been pressed on that frame of whenever you pressed it. So let's say you jump, it's only going to register just as you push it, and that's it. We're going to go ahead and calculate our movement. I know I spelled it wrong, it's okay. We're going to go ahead and create a temporary variable called var move, because we don't need this to be carried out through anything, just in the step event. So I'm going to create var move is equal to our key right minus our key left. This right here is going to return whether a 1 or a -1 based on which key was pressed. Minus key meaning that if both of these keys are pressed, then it's going to return a 0 instead. That way we don't glitch and keep moving in one direction if you press both at the same time. Now we're going to go ahead and use that HSP variable. We're going to equal it whatever our move is times our walk speed. Now this is going to either return, like I said, a 1 or a -1 times our walk speed, which was 4. So we're going to get a -4 or a 4. So we're going to either move right, move left, and it's going to be put into this variable here. Now we're going to create our PSP plus our gravity. So this is going, our 0.3 in our gravity is going to keep getting added to this right here, and then get added to here. So basically it's just here, this, you can do plus equals gravity, it doesn't matter, but I just keep it simple, so it's just here. So this right here is going to keep adding to this, and then make it equal to this, whatever this is. For jumping, we're going to use if place meeting x y plus 1, we'll get to that in a second, o solid, and we're going to use and here to include this key jump, and we're going to say VSP is equal to negative jump speed. So now here this is going to check if our player is meeting this solid object at +1 of its position, so meaning below it. So it's going to check 1 pixel below the player if we are in contact with this object. If we are, and our key jump has been pressed, then we're going to set our vertical speed to -7, pretty much of what it is, our jump speed. So now we're going to be going up, because in Game Maker it's negative this way, positive this way, negative up, and positive down. It's just opposite pretty much. For a collision object, we're going to use horizontal collision here. And we're going to say if place meeting x plus HSP y o solid and while, I'll explain this in a second, place meeting x plus sine HSP y o solid, and we're going to say our x equal to x plus sine HSP. Here I'm gonna press enter. HSP is equal to 0. And then down here, we're gonna put X equal to our X plus HSP. Okay, this right here is going to check if we are meeting the solid object at our current speed. If, let's say, -4, because that's our speed. So if we're meeting it at -4, we're going to go ahead and set this to 0, meaning we're not going to be able to move anymore. But while we're not meeting it, it's going to return us as -1 or a 1 based on our direction. And it's going to keep returning 1 pixel each time we move 4. So it's going to move 4 plus 1 if we're not touching it. 1, 4, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1 each time until we meet up with this. Meaning until we hit the wall. And this is going to put our speed now into the X. That way we can move along the X position of our axis. That way we can move the player left and right. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do all of this into the Y now, and you're gonna be using BSP for the vertical collisions. So do everything again, but just do all on the Y. Speeding X, Y plus BSP, O solid, while not place meeting X, Y plus sine BSP, B, O solid, Y equals Y plus sine BSP 0, and Y is equal to Y plus BSP. So if we've done this correctly, it should look just like this. Now this is doing everything that we're doing here, but now on the Y-axis, and now if we're moving downward, or if we collide with anything down or up, like this one is colliding with left and right. So now, since we got all this done, we're gonna go ahead, go into our room. Let's go ahead and change the background color to something nicer. Maybe like a blue color. Maybe something like this, just to kind of show that we're doing this. Let's go ahead and grab our solid object, drag it into, oh, not here. Click on instances, drag this along, and we're gonna go ahead and just stretch this out. And to make sure that our collisions on our walls, we're gonna go ahead and stretch this up too. And we're gonna stretch this up as well. Now we go ahead and add the player in. That's it. Now we'll go ahead and kick play and test out our game. As you can see, I press the left key, we're moving to the left, press the right key, and we're moving to the right. Now if I jump, we're able to jump. And I could just keep pressing and nothing happens, because it's only checking while we're colliding with the floor. Now if I go to the left, bam, we are colliding with the walls. And if I come over here, bam, we are colliding with another wall. So that's pretty much it for a basic platformer right now. If you'd like any more tutorials, just let me know. Just leave a like, comment, subscribe please, and we'll catch you in the next video. All right, thank you, peace.